The results are conclusive. This can't be right. The science is irrefutable. But how?
Get out. The word landed without force, without anger. That was what made it worse. Naomi stood in the center of the living room, one hand resting on her stomach, the other gripping the edge of the dining table to keep herself steady. 8 months pregnant. Barefoot. Her shoes were still by the door, neatly placed as if she were only stepping out for a moment. "I said, get out," Marcus repeated. "Take whatever you came with." His eyes did not meet hers. They were fixed on the television, where a muted news anchor moved her lips without sound. The house smelled faintly of coffee and furniture polish. Comfort, routine, ownership. None of it belonged to Naomi anymore. She swallowed. "Marcus," she said quietly, "it's late. Where do you expect me to go?" That earned her a sigh, the kind someone gives when they are tired of explaining something obvious. "That stopped being my concern the moment you decided to embarrass me." His mother shifted on the couch, crossing her legs slowly, deliberately. She had been sitting there the entire time, silent, watching. When she finally spoke, her voice was smooth and measured. "You should be grateful we're letting you leave with your dignity," she said. "Some women don't get that." Naomi felt the room tilt. Embarrass. Dignity. She looked at Marcus, then really looked at him. The man she had married. The man who had held her hand when they signed mortgage papers. The man who had promised quietly that no matter what happened, she would never be alone. "You told people the baby might not be yours," Naomi said. Marcus finally turned. "I told them I wasn't sure." Her breath caught. "You are sure?" "I'm not," he replied. "And even if I were, it wouldn't change anything." He reached into the folder on the table and slid a set of papers toward her. Divorce documents. Unsigned, but carefully prepared. Her name typed cleanly at the top, as if this had been planned long before tonight. "I don't want drama," Marcus continued. "Sign when you're ready, or don't. Either way, this is over." Naomi stared at the papers. Her hands trembled, but her voice did not. "You don't even want to wait until the baby is born?" "No." His mother stood and walked toward the door, pulling it open. Cold night air rushed in. "Go," she said, "before neighbors start watching." That was the moment Naomi understood. This was not about truth. This was about image. She bent slowly and picked up the small overnight bag she had packed weeks earlier, just in case. 2 dresses, 1 sweater. Prenatal records folded carefully inside a plastic sleeve. Evidence of a life that still existed, even if no one here wanted it. She paused at the doorway. Marcus did not look at her. She stepped outside. The door closed with a soft, final click. The lock slid into place. Naomi stood there under the porch light, the house glowing warmly behind the curtains. Somewhere, inside, the television volume rose. Life resumed. She walked. Down the driveway, past the gate, into the quiet street where curtains shifted and someone, somewhere, noticed. The pain began before dawn. Not the pain in her chest. The other one, labor. She sat on a bench outside a closed clinic, breathing through each wave, pressing her palms into the wood to keep herself upright. Her phone shook in her hands as she dialed Marcus's number. Once, it rang. Voicemail. She did not call again. At the public hospital, a nurse admitted her without questions. No husband arrived. No mother-in-law. No family from Marcus's side. Naomi gave birth alone. No hand to hold, no familiar voice. Only the steady instructions of a midwife and the harsh fluorescent lights above her. When the baby finally cried, strong, sharp, undeniable, Naomi's tears came quietly, soaking into her hair as she turned her face to the side. A boy. She named him Isaiah. The nurse smiled gently. "He's strong," Naomi nodded. "He has to be." She held her son against her chest and whispered a promise she did not yet know how to keep. "I will protect you." She did not know that someone important had just seen everything. The first year was not inspiring. It was survival. Naomi rented a single room behind a hair salon on the edge of the city. One narrow window, a mattress on the floor, a shared bathroom down the hall that smelled of bleach and damp towels. She placed Isaiah's crib beside her bed and slept lightly, waking at every sound. During the day she worked. She cleaned offices before sunrise, washed dishes at a diner until her wrists burned, folded laundry for families who did not ask her name. She moved quietly through other people's lives, leaving no trace behind. When people asked about Isaiah's father, she answered calmly. "He's not around." No bitterness, no explanations. Her body healed slowly. Complications from the birth left her with chronic pain that flared without warning. Some nights, she sat on the edge of the bed, breathing through it, refusing to let the sound wake her son. Isaiah grew. Bright eyes, quick hands, a laugh that surprised her every time it escaped his mouth. Naomi taught him letters using cereal boxes. She read to him from borrowed books. When he asked questions she could not yet answer, she said, "One day." Marcus rebuilt his life easily. He told people Naomi had left, that she was unstable, that the child might not even be his. His business recovered. He remarried within 2 years. Naomi did not attend the wedding. She did not look at photos. She did not correct the story. She was busy raising a son. When Isaiah was 6, Naomi found work as a night cleaner in a private investment firm downtown. The pay was better, the hours longer. She arrived before dawn and left long after the city lights blurred. That was where she noticed him, an older man, quiet, observant. He arrived early and left late. He wore simple suits, though everyone deferred to him instinctively. When he spoke, people listened. When he walked into a room, conversations softened. One morning, Naomi accidentally spilled water near his office door. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, kneeling to wipe it up. He stopped. "Take your time," he said calmly. "No rush." He watched her work, not with judgment but attention. From that day on, he noticed her, how she never left early, how she refused bribes to skip tasks, how she brought her son to the lobby on weekends, sitting him quietly with a book while she finished her shift. He asked the receptionist once, casually, "Who is she?" "Naomi," the woman replied. "Single mother. Hardest worker we have." The man nodded. His name was Mr. Caldwell, founder of the firm, a billionaire who preferred influence to attention. He watched. He waited. One evening, as Naomi waited outside with Isaiah, a familiar car slowed at the curb. Marcus. He saw her, thinner, older, still composed. The boy beside her looked unmistakably like him. For the first time in years, doubt crept in. Isaiah watched the car pass. "Who was that?" No one, Naomi said gently. But Marcus did not drive away easily, and Mr. Caldwell, watching from the building's glass doors, made a quiet note. The truth was already moving. Marcus could not shake the image. The boy's face, the set of his eyes, the way he stood beside Naomi, upright, calm, observant, too familiar. For years, Marcus had told himself the child might not be his. He had said it often enough that it had hardened into truth, or at least into comfort. Doubt was easier than accountability. But seeing them together unsettled him. He asked questions, carefully, quietly. A private investigator first, then a former mutual friend. Each conversation ended the same way. She never talked, they said. She never asked for help. She just disappeared. That silence began to feel dangerous. At the firm, Naomi's supervisor grew distant. Small things changed. Her shifts were adjusted without notice. Supplies went missing from her cart. Once, she arrived to find a written warning on her locker for tardiness she could prove had never happened. She read it, folded it, continued working. One night, security stopped her at the exit. "There's an allegation," the guard said awkwardly. "Missing property." Naomi did not argue. "Check the cameras," she said calmly. They did. The accusation dissolved. The supervisor avoided her eyes afterward. From his office above, Mr. Caldwell watched the pattern form. Pressure, testing, provocation. He asked for reports, requested footage, noted names. Then he did something small. He invited Naomi into his office. She stood near the door, hands folded, unsure. "I won't take much of your time," he said. "I've noticed your work." She nodded. "Thank you, sir." "Do you have family support?" "No." He studied her for a moment. "You're eligible for a staff development program, tuition assistance, flexible hours." Naomi hesitated. "I didn't apply." "I know," he replied. "Consider it an invitation." She accepted quietly. Marcus's unease deepened when he learned where Naomi worked. That firm, that man. He remembered rumors, influence, quiet reach. He pushed harder. A letter arrived at Naomi's room one evening, court letterhead, a petition questioning paternity. Not for child. Support. No, for certainty. Isaiah watched her read it. "Is something wrong?" he asked. Naomi folded the paper. "No." But that night, when he slept, she sat awake for hours. If the truth came out now, it would not be hers to control. At the firm, Mr. Caldwell received a call from a legal contact. "Someone is attempting to reopen a paternity matter involving your employee." Mr. Caldwell thanked him and hung up. He made one more quiet request. "Pull the records," he said. "All of them. Hospital admissions, birth certificates, security logs, the pieces aligned with unsettling clarity." Then came the board meeting. Marcus had positioned himself well. New investors, new confidence. He spoke loudly, easily, until Mr. Caldwell arrived late and took his seat at the head of the table. The room shifted. "Before we begin," Mr. Caldwell said, calm as ever, "there's a matter I'd like addressed." Documents were distributed. Screens lit up, hospital records, time-stamped security footage, legal filings. Marcus's smile faltered. "These records confirm," Mr. Caldwell continued, "that a former employee of ours gave birth alone, without spousal support, after being removed from her home." The room was silent. "The child in question," he added, is biologically yours. Marcus felt the floor drop away. The exposure was not dramatic. No shouting, no accusations hurled, just facts. Mr. Caldwell spoke evenly. This firm does not tolerate false narratives, nor the abuse of power to erase responsibility. Marcus tried to speak. His voice failed him. The board chair cleared her throat. "Mr. Hayes, we'll be reviewing your position pending further investigation." Status evaporated quietly. That evening, Marcus stood outside Naomi's building. He waited longer than he expected to. When she arrived with Isaiah, she stopped. He looked older now, smaller. "I was wrong," he said. Naomi listened. "I should have been there." She nodded once. "Yes." Silence stretched. "I don't expect forgiveness," Marcus added. "I just wanted you to know I know now." Naomi met his eyes. "You knew then," she said softly. "You chose not to care." Isaiah tugged her hand. "Mom?" She turned away. The next morning, Mr. Caldwell offered Naomi a permanent role. Stability, support, no spectacle. She accepted. Marcus watched from a distance as the life he had dismissed continued. Without him. The apology did not change Naomi's life. That was the truth Marcus struggled to understand. He had expected, perhaps hoped, that acknowledging his failure would reopen a door. That remorse would restore relevance. But Naomi's world no longer revolved around what he felt or what he had lost. It revolved around what she had built. Mornings began quietly. Naomi prepared Isaiah for school, tying his laces, checking his bag, reminding him to eat slowly. They walked together most days, their steps unhurried, their conversations small and steady. "How was math yesterday?" she asked. "I think I'm getting better," Isaiah said. "I know you are." She meant it. At work, Naomi moved differently now. Not louder, not prouder, just steadier. Her new role required training junior staff, managing schedules, overseeing operations that once happened far above her reach. She did the work with the same calm diligence she had always shown. No announcement had been made, no ceremony held. Those who noticed simply adjusted. Respect, when earned honestly, rarely makes noise. Mr. Caldwell never mentioned the past. He did not congratulate her publicly or frame her story as inspiration. He treated her as what she had proven herself to be: capable, reliable, grounded. Once, during a late evening review, he said only this: "You handled hardship without letting it harden you. That's rare." Naomi nodded. "I didn't have time to become anything else." Isaiah grew taller, his questions became sharper. One afternoon, walking home, he asked quietly, "Why don't I have a dad like everyone else?" Naomi stopped. She knelt to meet his eyes. "You have people who care about you," she said. "Some stay, some don't. That's not your fault." He considered this. Did he not want me? Naomi did not lie. He didn't know how to be strong when it mattered. Isaiah nodded slowly. "I want to be strong." She smiled, brushing his cheek. "You already are." Marcus watched from a distance. He saw them at school events, at the park, always together, always complete. The life he had walked away from had not collapsed without him. It had grown steadier, quieter, better protected. Regret settled into him not as punishment, but as clarity. He had mistaken silence for weakness, patience for passivity, endurance for insignificance. Years earlier, He had believed power meant control. Now he understood, too late, that it meant responsibility. One evening, Naomi stood at the window of their new apartment. It wasn't extravagant, but it was theirs. The city lights reflected softly against the glass. Isaiah slept peacefully in the next room. Her phone buzzed with a message from work, confirming her next project. A future unfolding, not in leaps, but in certainties. She breathed out slowly. Not relief. Peace. She had not chased justice. She had not demanded acknowledgement. She had not waited for the world to correct itself. She had simply endured. And in time, the truth had arrived. Quietly, unmistakably. Marcus would carry his regret. Naomi carried her life forward. And that was the difference. Truth does not rush. It does not announce itself. It waits. And when it arrives, it does not shout. It simply stands. If this story moved you, like and subscribe for more hidden truth stories. Stories about dignity, endurance, and the quiet strength it takes to keep going.